If you want to discover the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency and vibration. I don't care if they steal my idea, I care that they don't have it themselves. Scientists today think deeply, rather than clearly. One must be sane to think clearly, but one can think deeply, and go very crazy. The prize is theirs, the future, where I really work, is mine. When science begins to study non-physical phenomena, it will make more progress in a decade than in any previous century of its existence. If your hatred could be turned into electricity, it would light up the whole world. Of all things, I like books the most. My brain is just a receiver. In the universe there is a core from which we derive knowledge, power and inspiration. I have not penetrated the secret of this core, but I know that it exists. Alone, that's the secret of discovery, being alone, that's when ideas are born. I don't think you can name many great discoveries, which have been made by married men. One must be sane to think clearly, but one can think deeply, and go very crazy. Our virtues and failures are inseparable, like strength and matter. When they separate, human beings cease to exist. All that was great in the past was ridiculed, condemned, fought, suppressed, only to emerge stronger, more triumphant from the struggle. Let the future tell the truth, and evaluate each according to his work and accomplishments. Life is and will remain an equation, which cannot be solved, but contains certain known factors. Invention is the most important product of the human creative brain. Its main purpose is the complete mastery of the mind over the material world, the utilization of human nature for human needs. Scientists today have replaced mathematics for experimentation, and they wander through equation after equation, and end up building structures that have nothing to do with reality. We crave new sensations but soon become indifferent to them. Yesterday's miracles are a common occurrence today. Individuals are mortal, races and nations come and go, but humans still exist. The gift of mental power comes from God, a divine being, and if we focus our minds on that truth, we become in tune with this great power. You may live to see man-made horrors, beyond your comprehension. It's not the love you make, it's the love you give. Great moments are born from great opportunities. The inventor did not have time for married life. So astonishing are the facts in this connection, that it is as if the Creator himself had designed this planet electrically. Most people are so immersed in contemplation of the outside world, that they are completely unaware of what is going on within themselves. To be sure, some planets are uninhabited, but others are inhabited, and among them there must be life under all conditions and phases of development. Every living thing is a machine that is directed at the wheel of the universe. Although it seems to be affected only by the surrounding environment, the sphere of external influence extends to an infinite distance. Executing a raw idea as it is generally done is, in my opinion, a waste of energy, money and time. The idea of atomic energy is an illusion, but it has so firmly taken hold of the mind, that although I have preached against it for 25 years, there are still some who believe that it can be realized. There is something in me that may be illusory, as is often the case with happy young people, but if I am fortunate to achieve some of my goals, it will be on behalf of all of humanity. The progressive development of man relies heavily on invention. This is the most important product of his creative brain. A person may feel a sudden surge of sadness, and rack his brain for an explanation, when he may realize that it is caused by clouds cutting off sunlight. As I review the events of my past life, I realize how subtle the influences are that shape our destiny. If you only know the grades 3, 6 and 9, then you will have the keys to the universe. It is not in the superficial physical imitation of men that women will first assert their equality, and then their superiority, but in the awakening of the female intellect. Peace can only come as a natural consequence of universal enlightenment, and the merging of races, and we are still far from this blissful realization. The progressive development of man relies heavily on invention. This is just a new device to put the weak at the mercy of the strong. One must be sane to think clearly, but one can think deeply and go very crazy. I am valued as one of the hardest workers, and maybe I am, if thought equals work, because I have devoted almost all of my time to it. My project was hampered by the laws of nature. The world was not ready for it. It was too far ahead of its time, but the same laws would apply in the end, and made it a triumphant success. There is hardly a subject that cannot be treated mathematically, and the effects are calculated or the results determined beforehand from the available theoretical and practical data. I admire the artist's works, but I think they are just shadows and similarities. Most people are so immersed in contemplation of the outside world that they are completely unaware of what is going on within them. Inadequate observation is simply a form of ignorance, and is responsible for many morbid ideas, and rampant stupid ideas. Mercy is law of nature, and quickly and irresistibly, we are drawn to our doom. My belief is firm in the law of compensation. The true reward is always commensurate with the work, and the sacrifices made. Instinct is something that goes beyond knowledge, no doubt. We have certain fine fibers, which allow us to perceive the truth, when logical deduction, or any other deliberate effort of the brain, is futile. A far greater number of human beings never realize what is going on around and within them, and millions of people fall victim to disease and die prematurely just because of this. Peace can only come as a natural consequence of universal enlightenment and the merging of races, and we are still far from this blissful realization. And made me finally realize that I am just a robot, with no free will in thought and action, and only responsible for environmental forces.